Hello all, my name is John,
And I'm Tyler.
and together we are DeLong Rigging Solutions, or DRS for short.
So we're going to talk about pin rail operations. The most important thing to remember on the pin rail is it's all about communication between yourself and the people on the ground. It comes down to finding your spot line, which most often at a pin rail you're dealing with spot lines, or sometimes it's permanently installed electrics cables, sometimes referred to as pendants. But you're always talking to someone on the ground. The person on the ground usually is going to have a flashlight or a laser pointing up at a sandbag that they want you to drop in. When they're doing that, the only way to find the right sandbag is to grab the ropes and just bounce them as you look up. One thing to note is a lot of theaters have two rails, or two sets of rails next to each other. The higher one in the back is almost always going to be the far or long side, and the bottom or closer one is almost always going to be the near or short side. Another thing to note about labeling is that in this particular theater, all of their permanently installed electrics have tags on that tell you the number, with the numbers starting downstage at 1 and working their way up, and either short or long. Another important thing to know about pin rails is it's very important to keep them neat. When I say neat, I mean anything that's not actively in use. Take your coil, make it nice and neat, and put it on the pin that rope is tied to. Only have the ropes out on the ground for the ones you are currently using. This helps keep your walkway clear, and a clear walkway is a safe walkway. So, getting back to the actual procedure, so you're trying to find, in this case, we found our sandbag. This is the one they're after. Once I find it, I'm going to yell down and have the guy on the ground confirm. I'm just going to say something along the lines of, "Hey, this one?" And they're going to respond back with either yes, no, or sure, why not. Once we've identified it, I'm going to come down here, I'm going to start undoing my knot. And with this, the easiest way to undo the knot is you just take it, you loosen the tail, and you take it up. As you take it up, you check and see, all right, still enough friction, it's not sliding, but make sure you've got a hand on your standing line. So now I'm going to come down here and I'm going to take it off the bottom of the pin, and I'm going to check, and there I've got enough that's sliding. As it starts coming in, I am going to yell out, in this case it would be, "Sandbag coming in, mid-short," which tells everyone on the ground exactly where the sandbag is coming in, or rather what area to be watching. So this one doesn't have a lot of weight on it, so I'm actually going to take it off of the top pin, and I'm just going to slide it. Because this theater does not have permanent pins, these do come out, I usually like to keep a hand on there, and I'm just let it slide. You'll notice if you look down at my coil, that this is why it's important to have a neat coil, is the rope just comes off the top of the coil. So as this is going, if it starts to get away from me or I start getting a little nervous, I can always take the rope and capture it like that. If it's a heavier load, sometimes you would go ahead and leave the knot partially tied and slide it. You can run one of these substantially out of weight this way, about 150 pounds, maybe 200. That being said, I would not recommend trying to do it with that much weight. Just it is possible. So as we're laying this in, I'm going to decide that, this is far enough, or usually I'm going to get a stop from the ground. So they're going to tell me to stop, and I'm just going to grab my tail. I'm going to throw it down. Once I throw it down, I'm going to wrap it around the bottom pin. I'm going to bring it back up and wrap it around, and I'm going to be tying my cleat knot, which usually I like to do 3. And on the top one, the way you finish it is you take your rope and you twist it so that your tail is going underneath the knot, like that. When you do this, it's important to remember that you want your rope to be going in the same pattern it was before. So like on this one, I'm always bringing it up on the right-hand side, and it's always coming down over the left-hand side. And notice that it makes sort of an A. But that is the cleat knot. Let's say that it's time for me to pull this out. So they've tied something onto it and they want it to go out. this point in time, I'm going to undo my knot, which once again I just loosen the top. I take it off. Keep a hand on there, but give it a little feel, see if it starts to slide. It's not sliding yet. So I just keep undoing it until it starts to slide. But I don't want it to slide because I want it to go out. So in this case, I'm going to take it the rest of the way off because I know it's in a good place and it's a weight I can handle. And I'm going to pull. As I'm pulling, I'm not really paying attention to my coil. That's something that I'll take care of later. But as I'm pulling, I'm waiting for someone to give me a stop to tell me it's that trip. So I hear the stop. I'm going to take my tail and I'm going to throw it around the bottom and I'm going to lock it by crossing over the standing portion and thus starting my knot. So I've done this and I'm going to confirm, hey, you like it there? And they say, oh, you breathe in a little. All right, well, if I want to breathe in a little, I'll just let it slide a little bit until they give me another stop, and then I lock it and can start tying my knot. If they say that it's a little low, I actually can just pull down here and pull up with my tail and lock it. So once we've decided it's where we want it, we go ahead and tie our knot, which remember we're going to keep making a figure 8 here. I like to go around the top from the right, it comes off the left. It's going to come down, and it goes around from the right, off from the left, round from the right, off from the left. And again, that's my 3. 3 is the magic number I like. When I get up here, I twist it, but make sure that I'm going around from the right, off from the left, and under and capture yourself. So now I've tied my knot. It's time to make my coil nice and pretty. So the next time someone comes up here, they 1, know that that's in use, and 2, can let the rope just feed right off the top. And that is the basics of operating a pin rail. Please remember that DeLong Rigging Solutions one-shot training videos are meant as general overviews. Every system is different. Every venue has different procedures. All statements made make certain assumptions about systems and venue similarities. Nothing can replace on-site training with a qualified individual. If ever you have a question or concern about rigging, do not hesitate to reach out to us or another qualified vendor in your area.